I've been told personality is the way to sell videos and make people subscribe to your YouTubes. So I've put myself on the start of this video about, I don't know what it's about, I'm just going to put this on a video. As you can see, I've dolled myself up, wearing some gaming merch, in a beautiful location. Got a dog there, look at her little face. And carrying dog poo. So let's hope the video goes well, shall we? Like, share, subscribe. Hey guys! So I've cut out the big RPGs from this list for the sake of my own sanity and the fact there's only so much time in the world. Deal with it. Still, the SNES is home to a fabulous array of titles, many of which have flown under the radar a fair bit over the years. Inspired by my purchase of a Mega SG, yes, I do actually mean Mega SG, I decided to put together this list of overlooked games on the SNES. Overlooked, not underrated. That's specifically important here given it isn't actually a list comprised entirely of great games, as well as because overlooked doesn't mean underrated, so stop putting together lists with the terms being used interchangeably, internet. With that fact firmly in your face, let's get ready for list off in 3, 2, 1, kablooey! Yeah. Other Turrican games get a lot of attention, but really there wasn't much mention of Super Turrican 2 until it was bundled in with the Super NT. Then suddenly everyone did a collective, what? The game originally came out, as many ignored things did, in the era of excitement about the PlayStation and Saturn, but it was deserving of so much more attention. Admittedly, it's hard in a way I just can't be bothered with these days, but it doesn't stop me from appreciating the craft that went into Super Turrican 2. It's smartly designed, quick-paced, defiantly European in a world of best-of lists dominated by games from Japan and the US, and definitely worth a play, if you have more patience than I do. A spin-off of the Ghosts and Goblins series in its third iteration doesn't have any right to be this good, but here we are. Demon's Crest stars Stephen Demon, probably not his real name, who makes his way around the world swooping and fighting with the locals in a platformer akin to, well, Ghosts and Goblins. Except it adds in light RPG elements and a sense of progression that makes my cockles, I said cockles, all a tingle. This depth lifts Demon's Crest above the level of just a platformer and has it snapping at the heels of possibly being classified as a Metroidvania? Possibly, maybe. Thing is though, it's another one that's too hard for me to bother with these days and I will never get good as you all say to each other every day repeatedly. Yes, I know the internet very well. It has clunk to it, and it's arsey in a way similar to, you guessed it, Ghosts and Goblins, but generally speaking, Demon's Crest deserves more recognition than it's had over the years. I know as hypermasculine manly men we're not supposed to admit we don't understand things, instead just explaining them with a blind confidence that's oh so easy to parody, but I really do have little to no idea what's going on in Doremi Fantasy. What I do understand is that it's a really good fun platformer, challenging without being a goit about it, different enough from the plethora of Me Too jump-em-ups on the SNES to stand out, and with a cracking soundtrack which I'm probably not playing in the background right now. You still don't really hear much about Doremi Fantasy though, and it's both because of its Japan-only release and, drumroll, because it came out when the PlayStation and Saturn were hot. As such, it was drowned out by the world of polygons and, controllers with more buttons. Well, if you're talking about the PlayStation at least, which I have to be, otherwise that throwaway comment makes zero sense, and we couldn't have that. One of the other big Super FX games, Stunt Race FX, is a completely different beast to the expansion chip's flag bearer Star Fox, while at the exact same time basically being Star Fox Racer. Go figure. Alright, so what you're seeing now might be giving you a migraine, just like it did when I was playing, but if you can manage to look past the 3 frames per Ice Age buttery silky smoothness, you end up seeing what Stunt Race FX can really offer, that being a racer akin to the likes of Mario Kart, the PlayStation's Motortoon Grand Prix, or even Stunt Car Racer for the Amiga. You'll have to trust me it's fun though, because I have to stop talking about it now and move on before YouTube bans me for making you all vomit your legs off. Early 3D on console was shit. Would you look at this? It's a game I can actually describe as unique, both because I've never seen anything like it before or since, and because I live in a bubble of ignorance, and if anybody tells me another game very similar to Kid Clown exists, I'll just ignore them and move on with my day, happy in the knowledge I'm right about it being unique and that I definitely know what the word means. Now this is a limited one, it's brief with only a few levels, but that really serves it quite well given you're just doing the same thing over and again. That being making your way from A to B quicker than a lit fuse in order to disarm a bomb while avoiding obstacles and a nasty bugger whose name I've forgotten who kept on tripping me up. It's a solid premise, it works well, and Kid Clown surprises me frequently with how much fun it is. It really should be rubbish, yet it isn't, and still few want to talk about it. Ah well, more airtime for me. I've talked about the Fireman at last count 10.7 million times. I do so because it is fantastic, I played it to death as a kid and I still play it periodically now, owing to the fact that it's still great and nostalgia is a hell of a drug. And yet the Fireman is still an overlooked gem in the most part, only popping up every now and then in Fragged Shiteman Cave Retro Jesus' lists of best games for your Super NES. I mean, I get why it only came out in Japan and Europe, and the prevailing sense fed to our transatlantic friends by the games media has always been that the US is the only market that matters, so if it didn't come out in the States it doesn't matter. Well, I got news for you, matey boy. We got the Fireman over here, you got American Gladiators over there. Who wins that absolutely arbitrary comparison? The Fireman is ace. Imagine Spore, the much derided by the internet game by Will Wright, which was obviously torn to pieces internally by EA, transpose it to the SNES, have Enix of Square fame make it for some reason, and you've got yourself Evo. Or as some of you probably think it should be called EVO. It's SNES. Yes, Evo sees you starting as a creature from millions of years ago and evolving through different eras, choosing your evolutions along the way on the path to becoming, I don't know what because I didn't get to the end, but something, a car or a building probably. It's got frustrating combat, kickback is the worst thing in any game ever and should die in fire. It being Enix, there's plenty of grinding to be done, see my previous I didn't finish it comment. There is a fair bit of meh I picked up playing Evo, but there's also a lot to like. It's imaginative and silly, it's hard but lets you try and try again without much punishment, and if you're good enough, you get to be a dinosaur for a bit. I am not good enough. Here's your entry that's overlooked but definitely not underrated. Indie's greatest adventures is Super Star Wars but with Indiana Jones. That's literally it. Same developers, same style, same engine, same god-awful, way too difficult action. It's the same thing. And it is so hard for no reason, featuring Nazis with guns who are legitimately less threatening than men lobbing spanners at you. Yes, Indie's Greatest Adventures is better than most film tie-ins, but it's still pretty pap. It is oddly overlooked though, given the Super Star Wars series still gets so much popular attention. I think if the world knew there was a game in which you could whip men with fezzes, they'd go wild over it. Ah well, it'll remain our little secret for now. I literally have no idea why this is called Tetris, because it's not Tetris, like at all, beyond it being a puzzle game. Fun aside, a former colleague once went on an impassioned rant about how the original Tetris was and is, rather than a puzzle game, an action game. Said rant was derailed by others chiming in with their own points about that making Outrun a rhythm action game or Contra a puzzle game, just with really easy puzzles to solve that all involve shooting the problem and so on. Anyway, I allowed myself to go on that tangent there because I don't really have that much to say about Tetris Attack beyond 1, it's not Tetris, and 2, it's really great, really good. It has an air of critter crunch to it, but it's definitely its own thing, and if you have a chance I would highly recommend you hunt down this complete liar of the Tetris world. It's worth it. This one I hadn't even heard of until I asked what's overlooked on the SNES and was given a title I figured was incomplete. Nope, it's called Cosmo Gang the Video. It's also completely overlooked, even though it's fantastic fun, like Space Invaders by way of Natsume or something. Harvest Moon with blasters keeping the skies clear, you know. Cosmo and the Video Gangsters or whatever also has the fine distinction of both being really surprisingly good fun and hurting my hand while playing it. These old bones ache more and more with the button jabbing you're expected to do. Still, the pain and eventual crippling of my own appendages just to do some cutesy-shootsy is worth it as far as I'm concerned. You've got a little girl and a raccoon tanuki or whatever they're called thing in a top-down shooter that's hard. I'll go with hard. A lot of old games are hard, but not a lot of them allow you to do a raccoon slide. Pocky and Rocky is classic SNES arcadey action, and while I do remember its name from back in the early 90s, it doesn't seem to be one that's all over the popular consciousness of you modern SNES retro gamers. God, that's an awful moniker. Just as good, probably better actually, is the sequel, American Gladiators. Wait, not that. Pocky and Rocky 2, but I only played the first one for this video, so that's all you're getting. Take my word for it though, they're fantastic, exciting and fun games. And you can play them with a mate, or on your own, like I do. Every day. Forever. And there's a list. There's plenty more I didn't include, so feel free to pop those in the comments or just chat about whatever you like. I'm not your mum. Especially if what you like is to have opinions on how to say SNES as if I haven't had enough of that. And don't forget to do all these things you're supposed to do so I can be a YouTube billionaire, liking, subscribing, sharing the good word, whatever else. Bye!